You'll find his work in gift shops at national parks and state parks, and anything that has to do with nature. You'll often find posters and gift cards and greeting cards and books. He's written several children's books, and it's all in this minimal realism style. So let me see. I had one other thing pulled up here I wanted to show you guys. And once you recognize it, then you see it and you recognize it immediately. Oh, this is his son. This was an interview with his son. I thought this was a nice.
Charley Harper is an iconic Cincinnati artist, best known for his playful nature paintings. Born and raised in West Virginia, Charley first came to the Queen City in 1940 to study at the Art Academy of Cincinnati.
Amy, I have a thing in the
And his
middle of
future
the
wife,
video.
Edie McKee, who would be his
What?
This meeting is being recorded. Oh, is that I'm sorry to interrupt everybody.
That's okay. Yeah, you just check.
That's user error. Sorry, my fault.
I thought you'd done this Zoom thing before, Delia.
I've never done an interactive art class.
Well, that's
always sitting at my desk, like watching.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go.
companion and contemporary for the rest of his life. Today, the couple's only child, Brett Harper, continues the family artistic legacy both as an avid painter and the director of Harper Studios. He was kind enough to sit down with us and share some memories of his father.
We're at my ancestral home, which is a mid-century modernist house in Finneytown, a suburb of Cincinnati. This was a wonderful place to grow up. Had a big woods on 5 acres, and so you could run around and find things in the creek, bring them up here, and keep them for a few days until your folks told you to get rid of them. They've been around too long. My father worked here from about 1958 till 2006. Charley's greatest joy was reading about nature and painting it. He did it the old school, authentic way. He painted with drafting tools, T-squares, India ink, a drop compass, all of these things that the engineers and architects used to be familiar with. And that's the way he even stretched his own canvases. Sometimes he'd go to the Winton Woods where he would sketch weeds and find bird nests and things like that. And he liked to go to a lot of the nature preserves around Cincinnati, like the edge of Appalachia, Lynx Prairie, some of those that showed native wildflowers, coneflowers, the kinds of things that he was able to use in several paintings projects that he did. Charley was extremely generous and kind. He was also a person who cared a lot about various causes. One thing I remember when I was young was that he had us go in the Civil Rights March. And I learned to enjoy the company of people of all creeds and races. And I thought that's the way it ought to be. Charley and I both joined the Sierra Club when it first started. It was just a handful of people that gathered in their living rooms and talked about how they'd like to do outdoor activities and conservation work. Charley did an artistic spread for the Lexington newspaper to protest the Red River Dam back in 1967. And the Red River is now, of course, a very popular hiking and recreational area, which would have been radically different if it had become a lake.
According to Brett, preserving the natural world was the most important thing to Charley, who created more than 50 ecological posters for different groups throughout his career. In fact, Charley once wrote, "If I had not become an artist, I would have been a conservationist."
He was not a person who beat people over the head about the environment. I think he would try to perhaps change minds through humor. And to me, that's a more effective way. It's kind of like, I'm not telling you how to be. We're all in this together, and think about it a little bit.
In Charley Harper, you find a rare combination of extraordinary talent and pure goodness. For those reasons, he was both a truly great artist and human being.
I thought that was sweet. Just learning a little bit about him. He was a conservationist, and he did do lots of art posters for.
Usually bras fit small-chested
sorry.
women like.
There we go.
Let's paint that.
I'm always shopping to try to find a bra that fits. Yeah, let me close that, and I'll just get back to his website. He did posters for the Cincinnati Zoo, the Everglades, the National Park Service to raise money for ecology, and this is his official website. So his son continues to sell his artwork and his products on fabric.
Wow.
Things, yeah. Sorry, artwork. And I don't know if you guys, I think I said in my email, we're talking about shape tonight. So his animals are, he just breaks it down to the most simple things. He said he could never, like he would try to focus the binoculars, but by the time he got them focused, then the bird would have moved. So instead of counting feathers, he counted the number of wings. So he kept it just the most simple instead of trying to chase realism. So when let me go to just the images of his birds. So when we talk about shape, when I talk with the kids about shape, I talk about there are two categories of shape. So can anybody tell me what the two categories of shape are, the two different kinds of shape? Anybody want to take a daring guess?
2D and 3D.
Okay, so 2D is when it's flat, and 3D
Right.
is when 3D is when it looks like it's three-dimensional. So that's a good guess. There's geometric shapes. So those are your circles and rectangles and triangles and all the things that have a name, all the things that we had studied. And the kids I teach, of course, most of them have not gotten to geometry yet, but I think most of us have probably, I would say suffered through it, but I actually love geometry. I thought geometry was the most fun of all the maths. So anything that has a name to it is usually a geometric shape. So rectangle, square, triangle, circle, half circle, semicircle, hexagon, all of the gons, pentagons. The kids love to go crazy with and like get higher and higher. And I can't draw all those. So any of those that you have, that you know the name for and that you studied and you did, they all have mathematical properties, right? So I tell the kids, which doesn't mean a lot to them, that you'll learn to measure the perimeter and the radius and the circumference and the area and the volume. All of those have mathematical properties and we know the names. So then the other kind of shape are organic shapes. So like these leaves here are organic. Clouds, this little puff right here, whatever that is. This nest, the nest is kind of a semicircle. But anything that they're also called freeform and organic shapes. So I usually tell them, like, think about things that have to do with nature, a leaf, a flower, a cloud, anything that doesn't have a name, that you don't know the name, that would be an organic shape or a freeform shape. So when you're drawing or you're painting, looking for those shapes. And I found this was a good website. When I was trying to figure out what to talk about, I thought this had some good things. So shape in art, you've got your geometric shapes. This website has a ton of ads, so I hope it doesn't crash me. So here are some of your geometric shapes. So you might have it as part of your composition, or your actual subjects could have a geometric shape. And then you have organic shapes, which are these free form names. When you're going to paint something or draw something, you can block out the shapes first. So, and I used to sit when I was a kid, I would like sit with my sister's like Cosmo magazines and a face on the front, and I would kind of do all the outlines, and I would like outline all the shadows and the highlights and stuff. So that's what you can do when you're starting out drawing, is you can just you can block out the shapes that you see based on the light and the dark or the colors. And then there's positive and negative space, which we haven't gotten to talking about space yet. But one of the things you talk about with space in art is your subject is the positive space. And then the background is the negative space. So you can look at shapes by looking at the positive and negative space. And you can also make corrections by correcting your positive space or your negative space. So if you were painting this woman and this arm got too fat, you could correct it by bringing your background in and making that tighter. Or, if it was too skinny, then you can add to the positive space to make those corrections. So that's often something. This is one of this artist's examples. So he was saying that you can bring in the negative space to make it not, look super defined. You can bring the negative space into the positive space. And here he was outlining the highlights. And that's what I used to sit and just like draw on my sister's magazines. You can also get big shapes in your work, just the light. So this is just light creating these stripes of shapes. And then I also thought this was a good thing just to look at. If you're looking at this woman, the most complicated thing that you can draw or paint, if you can break it down into the shapes and then into the lights and darks, it's all about seeing. So when you're starting out to do art, it's about seeing. So if you can see each of these shapes and break down the shapes, here's this shape, and then you put them all together and voila, you have something that looks like something. And these would be all organic shapes that make up this woman. And same thing with the lights and darks, the haystacks. This was an example of taking something and breaking it down in the large shapes and then into smaller shapes. So if you just block out your large shapes, you have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can start breaking it down into smaller shapes and looking at the different colors or the different values. This one you could break down by geometric shapes. This is a whole lot of geometric shapes. And then it goes on just with other examples. Oh, this one was an example of positive and negative space. So you have this great chunk of negative space here and negative space here. And then all of this positive space, and then this big, this would be a shape where the light is. And then in the water, it's all these organic shapes making up the water, different colors. And he says this artist was known for his bold shapes in his landscape paintings. You've got this negative space and these great shapes for the trees. So much of art is just learning to see. So if we look at Charley Harper's birds, or Charley Harper's animals, he did all kinds of animals, but let's look at this one as an example. We have these kind of geometric shapes that make up the bird, different triangles and ovals. And then here are organic shapes in the trees and the leaves, organic shapes here. Like I said, these leaves will be organic and these little puffs will be organic. And the birds are a little more geometric. And I thought it was interesting, his son said he worked with all those drafting tools. So that would be helpful in getting these very straight lines. And it looked like he also had some templates maybe where he had cut out and then painted like some stencils. Here's a different color version of what we're doing. I guess it's a paint by number set. I don't know, but I just like the image. Anything that you can see and you can take and you can break down into shapes, then you're going to be able to draw it or paint it. I did this chicken with some classes last year, and this actually is a lot easier than what we're doing tonight because we're doing straight edge. Sorry, again, we kind of did a mix last month. But this, if you just, when I broke it down to like see how to paint it and how to teach it, it's basically a heart shape. And that's what we started with, is we started with a heart shape. And then you just add the feathers from there. Like then you're breaking out the chunks by color. But as far as the basic shape of this chicken is basically a heart shape, and then the rest of it was just putting in the feathers, which was pretty easy. So if you guys want to do this one with me, it's a little more straight edge. So next month I'll not do straight edge next month, I promise. We'll do something that's a little more flowy. But I thought this was cute. So do you guys like this one? Did you see another one that you would rather do? If you saw a different Charley Harper, go for it. If you want to do this not with straight edges, that's fine too. If you want to do it more flowing and put in more feathers and try that, you can do that. I was thinking about doing one that way and this way, and I didn't have time, but so I'll do it this way. If you want to do it more feathery, feel free to do it more feathery. Whatever colors you want to do. I think this was actually a different paint set. This green is going to be this one actually might be a little more like what was on the screen before. So I don't know. Some of you guys might have the Benici paint. Some of you guys have the Norberg and Linden, and some of you have your own. Roxanne, you said you'd gotten some paints recently, right? How are they? How's the pigmentation?
They're pretty good, and it's a huge 30 tube set, and they're big. They're this size.
What brand?
And they're called Shuttle Art, and it was only $17 on Amazon, and it's a set of 30 colors.
Okay, that scares me, but
Alex just did this right now.
Hello, Alex. I didn't know your girls were right there.
Well, she's hiding because it's grown-ups only.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Jamie, I have a question.
Yes.
We got the kit that you advised on Amazon, the Norberg and Linden.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to use.
It's water. Acrylic is water.
Well, it's water-based, but when it dries like plastic. So you want to get it off of your brushes. You want to get it off of if your clothes or surfaces.
Do we need turpentine or water to rinse our brushes?
Yeah, it cleans up with water. Yeah.
Okay.
But it dries. When it dries like plastic. So if it dries in your brushes, it's really hard to clean them. So
Okay.
anytime your brush is sitting for a while, go ahead and rinse it out or leave it. Don't leave it in your water for a long time, because then it dissolves the glue in this part, which I can't think of right now. So, all right, so this is how you guys that have done this before, bear with me, but I usually take a paper towel and wet it, and then I put my paints on that just to keep them wetter longer, because acrylic dries out really fast. Oil paints don't, they last for days, they stay wet for days. Watercolors, you just wet them again. But acrylic paints, they dry out really quickly. So I usually start with a wet paper towel. I squeeze it out so it's just damp, and then I use that to put my paints on for my palette.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can use a paper plate, plastic plate. I have a cutting board, plastic cutting board that I use, that I bought at the 99-cent store just for this purpose. And then you want to set up your water and your paints. If you're right-handed, you want to set up on your right side. And if you're left-handed, you want to set up on your left side. And then you can go ahead and do your colors light to dark, and pick whatever colors you want. Doing this, I'm not going to put out all the colors because I don't need all the colors. But if you want to do a blended background with, more colors involved, that's fine. And if you don't want to do just this graphic kind of treatment. So I encourage you to do whatever, be the artist, do your own spin on things. If you're just getting these paints opening for the first time, they have a little pointy edge on the back side of the cap. So turn the cap over and puncture the metal. And then I'm stingy with my paints because they dry out so fast. But you don't have to be. Then when you're done with these, you can get the $17 set of 30 that Roxanne has. I'm curious about the, like, if you're painting, like, these are okay, but like if you're doing white over a color, you've got to do a couple layers because the pigments aren't great. They're better than some other, sets like this I've found. So I'm
Okay,
curious.
so I'm sorry, are we doing the leaves? We're not doing the background first?
I'm putting my palette out. I don't have my
Oh.
palette out. Do you have
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm putting all my colors out first. Sorry.
Jamie, I just noticed all my stuff was starting to look the same, which is why I had to like get more colors.
Okay. Yeah. I know I have an artist friend who she only paints with 4 or 5 colors, and she mixes everything from those colors. Because as we talked about the first week when we talked about color, or the first month when we talked about color, you can mix everything from the primary colors, except the primary colors we learn aren't really the primary colors. Because the primary colors we learn are red, yellow, and blue, and really it's magenta, yellow, and cyan. Which we need to go back and do a lesson. Everybody needs to get those colors, and then we need to do a color mixing using those colors. So this green is going to be a little different than my sample because I'm using the Norberg and Linden paints. So I skipped the blues. I'm not going to use the blues, but if you want to put the blues out on your palette and mix different colors in your background, or if you want to do bluebird, or this bird is, well, who can tell me, is the bird warm colors or cool colors?
Warm.
Just remember your warm colors and cool colors.
Warm color.
Warm colors, yes, Gary, woo! And the background is cool colors or warm colors?
Background's cool.
Background is cool colors. So the blues and purples and greens are cool colors, and the reds and oranges and yellows are warm colors. So there's a lot of contrast in this because we're using warm colors for the bird and cool colors for the background. But if you wanted a more analogous look, if you wanted, to do all cool colors, feel free. If you want to do all warm colors, feel free. It'll give you a different look and different feel. But okay. All right. Then there's no right or wrong way about going about the background. This one's a little challenging because I I did my subject and some of the leaves, and then I painted the background around it. So it's easier if you paint the whole background and then you paint your subject, but because these paints don't go over each other that great, I went ahead and painted most of my subject. So we're going to start with the bird, and we're going to do this line. So a curved line and then a straight line. And then I'm going to do this part of the bird, a curved line here, and then another curved line following that. And you want to fill up, I filled up a little more of the canvas actually than the Charley Harper example, but you want to fill up most of your canvas, I would say. Or you can have plenty of room for your background.
So what brush should I
So
use?
I'm just going to start with a yellow, have something light, and let's see if you guys can see it though. You know what, I'll go a little darker with the yellow ochre so you can see it. So I'm going to do a curved line for the head and then a straight line.
Okay.
Feel free to pull up a reference too on your computer if you want to have something else to look at besides mine.
Yeah.
I always have to have something to look at to draw. I can't do anything from my head. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And these are not going to be my favorite colors, but I'm doing it a little bit darker. You can use yellow if you want to have something you're not going to see as much. My head, and I'm going to come down and do my. So now I'm going to do a swoop line. And I might have gone a little too low for mine. I'm not gonna have a lot of leaves. So don't feel like you have to come down quite as far as I came down because my leaves are gonna be a little tight. I'm gonna change my line, so ignore me here. I'm just gonna change my line a little bit to make it not be quite so come down so far. And then this is gonna be part of my other part here. Okay. And like I said too, you can make corrections with your negative space. So I can change this when I go for my background. I'm gonna come out here for my beak. So,
Jamie, do you have the double belly there on purpose? Should we do the same or it was just a correction?
a correction here, I'll erase it. Here's the thing about acrylic paint too, is if you do it quickly, you can just wipe it off. You're gonna get a little water and you can wipe it off. So if I didn't like all of that, I could just wipe the whole thing off and start over again. But you don't really want to do too much wiping off and starting over, and like you don't want to be tight at this point. You want to be loose at this point. Save the tight for later. And also I'm working with my biggest flat brush like I always do. Yeah, these are pretty small brushes, but always use the biggest brush you can for as long as you can, because you have plenty of time to get tight and get uptight. Just you want to relax. You don't want to get uptight when you're painting. Okay, I'm going to put this awesome, this is such a Charley Harper tail, this long triangle tail. I think to make it a little easier, we'll do the background and then we'll paint the leaves and stuff on top. I painted my leaves in the first time, but maybe we'll just have a little bit darker leaves and it'll be easier to paint our background. Okay, and then the other shapes in the bird has a straight line here. And then the feather. Something like that. I'm going to change my shape a little bit. I feel bad when I do something that I want to correct because I feel like I mess all you guys up. But there's not really right or wrong, right? It's going to look like a bird. Okay, then we'll go, let's just work on our background now. So if you guys want to go flat like a Charley Harper, you can go one color. If you want to mix different colors in, feel free to mix different colors in. There's going to be a lot of leaves and things in here, so don't worry, it's not going to be all this boring background. I love blending colors, so this isn't the way that I normally paint because this is my favorite part is the backgrounds. If you want to throw some blues in there, other greens in there, feel free to. Well, that hooker green and the Viridian, or the, what is this one called? Yeah, the hooker's green and the Viridian, they don't look great together. The hooker's green is kind of really muddy. So if you're gonna mix colors, I'd probably mix blues in with this. And you can do this quickly. Just do kind of X's. Just sweep it across, and you always want to pull. I don't know that I have to tell adults this. You always want to pull your paintbrush. You never want to push your paintbrush. I know it's like not something you think about, but you're always pulling. That pull, but you don't ever push, because when you push, then it messes up your bristles. So you want to take good care of your paintbrushes, and that means always keeping your bristles flat if you're using a flat brush. Oops, I accidentally picked up a little burnt umber. Yellow ochre. So next month we'll get into form. So we've done line. We'll be using line tonight because his work has all these great lines in it. We've done color and line and shape tonight. So next time we'll get into form. And that's when we go from having 2-dimensional shapes to 3-dimensional shapes, or 3-dimensional looking. All right, and if you don't like any of your bird shape that you did, you can correct it now with this negative space. I'm going to bring my bird in a little bit. How you guys doing? I'm getting a little bored of this part right here. And I might regret this because I'm going to have to paint my leaves over this dark green. So I'm probably going to paint white and then paint the yellow on top of the white. White usually blocks, if it's a good white, and I think this kit's maybe better than my other kit I was using. If it's a good white, it blocks it out. You shouldn't really need to go to your water, but if your paintbrush starts feeling like it's getting dried out, then you can give it a dip in your water. But we're not changing colors. I haven't really rinsed my brush.
Hey, Jamie, so right now we're gonna go ahead and get the background right up to the shade as best we can, or,
Yeah, I mean, get the shape, get your outside shape that you like. So you can go all the way up if you know that's what you like. And you can fill it in later too if you want to, but I think if we go ahead and get it in, then we can get our leaves and stuff going. We'll let the background dry and we'll work on the inside of the bird, and then we'll come back and work on the leaves. And to get that straight edge, just lay that brush down flat and pull and pull, or you can get up on the tippy tip edges of those bristles. This one's gonna look very different with this dark green. And feel free to turn your canvas around as you paint, if that's more comfortable or if you get a better angle. You can add a little bit of water to your paintbrush too to make it go smoother when you're trying to get that nice straight line. Okay, we're gonna get there, I promise. Almost there. How are you guys doing?
good, good. I'm glad you're not rushing us.
Okay, yeah, don't let me, I am rushing, but don't let me rush you, yeah. I'm rushing because I'm bored of this part of it.
This is the first, maybe second background I've ever did, so
Ah,
I'm in your, it's very meditative.
yeah, like I said, I love doing backgrounds typically because I like blending the colors. I'm just not blending any colors in this one, so.
Oh, right, like if you're doing a sky or the ocean, you do a lot of ocean.
Yeah, or even just backgrounds like this. If if I were mixing, maybe I'll mix a little blue in here, just for the fun of it. All right, so I will wait until you guys tell me that you're ready, and then we can do something else. And meanwhile, I'm gonna mix some blue in because I'm not getting a nice flat color anyway, like Charley Harper would. His are like Romero Brito that we looked at last week, just solid flat colors. Or I keep saying last week, sorry, last month.
What is time?
Yeah, what is, I don't know anymore. It's pre-COVID and now, or when we were locked down, or.
Right. Now we're kicking off the roaring 20s.
Are
Yeah.
we? It's after the Great Depression, before the Great Depression.
Yes, what? Well, they say we're 100 years out from the first roaring 20s.
Yeah, we are.
So this is the second one.
Yeah, John was saying the other day, like, stock market crash of 29, we're up back to 29 again. Like,
Right.
no, stop. Just when we would be retiring.
Yeah, we can do the roaring 20s without the crash.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That's my vote.
I like it. Here's something too I should have shared. If you guys don't want this dark green, you can do a little white mixed in there to get a lighter green. That would have been but you know that. You figure that out on your own, right? I've given you that freedom. And Also, if you have a bigger brush, feel free to use a bigger brush. If you're doing the background, I should have said. This is the biggest one that comes in that kit, but
I have the urge to slap the brush against the easel to dry it out like Bob Ross. I do that so bad, but I didn't put any recovering down.
sorry, I'm just gonna keep playing until you guys tell me you're ready for. Go back to our bird.
Well, we aren't talking much tonight, so I'm just going to share something with you that is like artsy. So I was going through some little family issues this month, and I was away from home, and the only thing I could take with me was my little adult coloring book. So while I was going through this little stressful time, every night I would pull out my colored pencils, and I made some like really beautiful drawings. And my brother was an artist in his life, and I've always gotten like beautiful paintings from my brother over the decades. He's my older brother, and he has Parkinson's now. So when I was leaving there last a week or so ago, I asked him, I said, what is your favorite one that I've done? And he picked the drawing that I'd done. And I said, so when I left there that day, I signed my artwork, and I gave my brother my signed artwork for the first time. And I said, well, now I'm an artist.
I love it.
And he's my big brother, and it was just a real emotional time. So, but you know what? I never felt like an artist before. And I had never finished my painting from last month because I didn't like it. And I came home and I finished my painting, and I was happy with it. And I had done a Brito. I was trying to do what I thought.
Yeah.
And I came home and I finished it. So it was like, thank you, Jamie, because I really felt like, you know what, I'm an artist, So anyway, but I just wanted to share that with you because, we're all, I don't know about the rest of you, but I felt like I was kind of a beginner, and, I didn't feel real confident and all, but I found things that I liked. And, it was just something that I wanted to do. So it was pretty cool.
Nice, Karen. Show us that. Do you have yours close by? From last
The
month?
one from last month? Yeah.
Let's see.
I did last month. And what brought it together was I outlined it.
Nice.
Yeah, I hadn't finished it when we left last month. And then it was supposed to be like a little butterfly, but I don't know, I couldn't quite figure out the face and stuff. So it was my own impression of it.
Right?
But anyway, so I outlined it, and then I was happy.
Well, that's the thing. If you're doing that style, especially, you got to outline it because it just looks messy. It just looks messy.
It did. Mine looked really messy, so I wasn't happy with it. And then I was like, you know what? I can do this, and I did it.
Yes, good for you. It looks really cute.
Thanks.
You need to hang that on one of your new.
Yeah, I gotta frame it or something. I know somebody can help me frame.
There you go. I know somebody that can help you frame too.
I know, huh? Well, I'm kind of busy right now, I guess, huh? You going to the Pasadena Chalk Festival next weekend?
No, I haven't seen that. That's next week.
Yeah, it's at the Paseo. There's going to be I don't know, maybe 300 artists there or something. So
That'd be kind of neat.
something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to go, and look at things, but I've been going there for decades, so.
Right. I saw that the Burbank Cultural Arts called Market is finally starting. Did you guys see that? On the 24th, Friday the 24th. It's up by the AMC's on the.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Are you involved in that, Suzanne? Is that the Cultural Arts Commission?
I don't think so. I mean, it's definitely not the commission. I don't know. I think maybe young professionals might have had something to do with it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's promoting that.
They've been talking about it for like a year.
Yeah.
I've had it on my calendar for
Is it
Thursday
like
night.
booths that sell art? What is it?
Yeah, it's booths that sell art. And it's a cultural arts festival. So I'm not really sure.
The Multicultural Arts Festival is what it's called.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And I know like I had seen a call for artists at one point, but it was like so much, $25, and I don't know what the numbers were, but like $25 a week to be there, and then they all said then wanted you to donate a certain percentage, and like whatever it was, I was like, that's kind of a big ask because usually artists don't sell anything at those kind of things. So
You're thinking of maybe doing a booth, Jamie?
well, when I first saw it, yeah, and I'll go see what it's like. I've got on my calendar to go next Friday. Um, I mean, I love seeing things like that. Going, any of those kind of arts opportunities. Suzanne's on the Cultural Arts Commission. That's why I was asking her. And I don't know, did any of you guys get to see Suzanne's show last week? She does storytelling shows. So she did a storytelling show last weekend for as a fundraiser for
Family Service Agency.
Family Service Agency.
I always have to stop
Did
at
it?
FSA or BTEC.
FSA, yeah.
How did it go, Suzanne? Was it a good crowd?
I'm better at that than I am at painting. I'm so much better.
Well,
Huh?
you are a writer.
Yeah, I am not a painter.
Well, did people?
I am
did people
definitely not
get,
a painter.
Did people get moved and emotional and like listen to the stories and get moved?
Yeah, I think it was a very successful show. I mean, it was a tough theme because FSA asked me to do the theme on mental health, but the stories were powerful, and I think a lot of people that were there were inspired by. I heard a mix of things. Some people said it made them very, very grateful that their lives are as good as they are. And other people connected with bits and pieces of certain stories. And I think it was really powerful. And also for the people who told the stories. So yeah. And it raised about $3,000. So that's good.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Suzanne puts on really good shows. If you guys ever get a chance to go to her shows, they're good.
Thanks, James.
You're welcome.
James is a really good artist.
Shut up. And I was trying to get Karen to submit for your show.
Yeah,
episode.
I know. You did. You really tried.
So maybe at some point you'll
Next time, there'll be another time.
have a story,
Yeah.
story to tell.
You'll have to send us out the link or something, so that we can have that.
You can actually watch the stories. They're up on my website now. So all the links to each of the stories are there. So
Is that the Jam Creative website?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, jamcreative.com.
jamcreativestories.com.
Stories.com. Okay. Okay, how you guys doing on background? We ready for some third work now?
Yeah, I don't know about the beak thing.
You can always make corrections. Mine's looking weird too. So, okay. So here, this bird has this like triangle shape here. This is kind of a weird. It creates an oval on the top of its head. We'll be going with white inside the wing. So we'll get this triangle shape and then this oval top of the head, or oval top of the head. So I'm gonna do orange. So I'm gonna do my outlines in orange, but I'll go back in and fill it in with black. So I did a curved line this way, and this is good. I should just do it in black. Sorry, you guys. I'm gonna do it in black because this top of it's orange. I was gonna do the orange outline, but no, I'm just gonna do black because that's what I'm filling in with. This would be a lot easier with cut paper, let me just say. Or if we did stencils, which is what it looked like Charlie Harper did. This is hard to get these straight lines with a paintbrush. So I've got that shape, and I'm going to do the triangle shape. Straight line, straight line, straight line.
Don't forget to go look at the moon, everybody. I looked at it a little while ago. It's huge and big and round. Yeah.
It'll be huge by the time we're done, but it's full tonight, all the way full.
It's either tonight or tomorrow night. It's like a blood moon or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
They told me it was called a strawberry moon or something. I'm like, oh my God, they just come up with these names, don't they?
It's a full strawberry moon in Sagittarius.
There you go.
Of course you know that, Delia. Delia's our moon child. How you doing, by the way? Should we? Yeah, let's see. Should we take a look, peek, and see how people are doing?
I'm worried about Mango right now because he's got something on his leg that he was chewing on, and we just thought he was nervous chewing, but I cut the mats off, and it turns out he's really got something there, and he keeps licking while we're painting. And I'm scared he's gonna start bleeding. We can't find the cone, so we're having a little doggy issue.
I'm sorry, Mingo.
Mango. But we're good. We're doing good.
How's your birdie coming?
100% well today. So I went back to work. Did John tell you I ran into him?
Oh no, huh? I haven't talked to him because he came in just as I was logging on. So
I was coming out. It's so funny how timing works. Like, like you'll run into someone where if you'd been there a split second later, you would have never seen the person.
Yeah.
So I got in my car and I looked in front of me, and out of the elevator bank in the tower building, parking was these three guys, and I didn't recognize them, but I recognized the thing parked.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. Whoever that is has that cool thing car. And then I think we both kind of recognized each other, and he was like, hey, are you painting tonight?
You remember.
Well.
Yeah, he had a meeting in his old, like where his old offices were.
Yeah.
That in those WeWork offices. All right, my beak is looking really weird, so just get your beak in. Get your beak in better than I'm getting my beak in. I'm trying to change my shape a little bit too, so.
Well, I think my bird black shape looks like Robin's mask, but that's okay. We're doing a black beak.
Yes. Yeah. But again, if you want to do something different, go for it.
We're still using the biggest brush.
Yes.
Okay.
I use the biggest brush for everything. I use this brush, and then I use the round brush, the smallest round brush for the branches. So. Yeah, is it that?
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Can I see the reference painting real quick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. As the black is very powerful, so it's a little scary using black. You can change shapes really easily with black. So if there's something you don't like now and you want to change it, the black is a nice, strong. If I can scoop this, you can see both of them. So James, you were saying that you haven't been painting at all. Is that just not anything you ever do at work? You're just always on the computer?
Yeah, because I do storyboards, so I'm never like, I never, even for storyboards, you like on traditionally you would just be using paper and like just pens or pencils, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely ever you use color, except if you're trying to like emphasize something.
Right.
Black and white art.
Like line art?
A lot, yeah, line art and a lot of black and white art if we use grays and stuff like that. So.
What's your thing that you like? Like, if you're doing your own art, what do you like to do?
Oh, what I like doing? I love fantasy paintings.
You love what, fantasy paintings?
Fantasy paintings. I love fantasy art.
Like sci-fi, like.
Yeah, like all the, like all those old like pulp covers and stuff like that.
Do you do those?
No. I just love them.
Like them.
I don't know if
favorite genre.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me say Delia. He is works for Disney. Delia also works for Disney. She's in Disney music.
Oh, that's cool.
Where do you sit, John? Are you working from home? Is it John? No.
James. I actually get to go into the studio. I'm like the only artist in my building though, but the building across from me has some people that I know. And
which building are you in?
We're over in Sonora, 811.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And are you going in all the time now, Delia?
No, we're 2 days a week, so Monday, Tuesday until the middle of July, and then it's 3 days.
Okay.
So then we can pick the third day, but I mean, who's not going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then have like basically a 5-day weekend?
Well, you're working on that Thursday and Friday.
Right. I mean,
I know that you don't have to go somewhere. Yeah. I know. I was telling James my daughter started an internship this week for DC Comics. And archive, yeah, she's not doing art there. She's doing archiving, which she's been doing at college, in the library at college, and she loves it. But so far, all she's been doing is putting numbers into a spreadsheet all week.
That's what they do. That's why I don't ever share our internships or our project hires or any of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it's how the backlogs get.
Well, I mean, she applied for archiving. She didn't apply to do.
No, I know, but it's an internship or a job.
It's an internship. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're moving right now too into the new building. So when they get moved, then she'll be able to actually go in and handle things. She got to hold the original Superman comic book the other day, the very first one from 1933. Yeah.
Get chills.
Yeah. The first Flash.
Delia, what do you do for Disney Music?
I've been in the music publishing team for going on 15 years. I'm basically a glorified den mom. I'm the coordinator for copyright administration, but it kind of turned into I pay the songwriters and composers and deal with a lot of them. My teammate doesn't like talking to people on the phone, so I've ended up really interacting with a lot of the legacy. It's basically law, money, and music is like artists is my job. And then I just got moved over to business affairs from copyright administration. Mm-hmm. So now I'm sitting sort of at the masthead with the SVP, the president of concerts. But he's really cool, and we're doing a lot of worldwide stuff. Everything's opening up, and yeah. So I do that. I'm the assistant to the VP who writes the songwriter agreements. I get to work with a lot of the the new creative songwriters that we sign. Like for instance, a woman that we have is Steph Jones, and she wrote The Climb, which Miley Cyrus. That's something you would have heard of.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I'm always telling my kids, I'm like, if you write one song that's a hit, your grandchildren can go to college on the mailbox money. Because that's what I see. I just talked to 2 heirs, to the man who did the music for Sleeping Beauty. That in the 30s or 40s, and so like his great grandchild, his granddaughter, 40, talked to her, and she's used to getting that money from her granddad.
Wow.
But it's fun. We do showcases. We have a lot of Hollywood Records has bands. We have Andy Grammer. You know, we have the Queen Masters. We just released a really cool song by Rita Ora that Diane Warren wrote called Finish Line. It's for celebrate 50 years of Title X, Title 9, I think it is, for women in sports.
Yeah.
That's a really good video if anybody wants to go look at it. It's really empowering and inspiring.
My sister was in high school. My sister was a real athlete, always was. And she was in high school when Title IX passed.
She was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did it help her?
Yeah. Yeah. She got to play tennis.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They got locked.
I think Billie Jean King was like instrumental in pushing it to get it passed.
I mean, I remember when I was little and Billie Jean King being a thing around our house.
She what?
And Billie Jean King like being a thing around our house because my sister was a big tennis player, and in that era, so yeah, she still talks about it. My sisters are like 15 and 17 years older than me, so we lost somebody. Who did we lose? Jen. Nope, Jen's there. Everybody moved. We lost somebody. You guys shifted. All right, I'm putting some orange and yellows in. How are you guys doing? Oh, we lost Delia. That's who we lost. Yeah, she was up there. They had a fancy hook into their TV, so hopefully they'll be back. Battery died.
No, mine doesn't really look like yours.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I'm just staying with you because this is harder than doing a flowy. Let's see. See how it's going, Karen.
Well, I was doing really good on the background, but I'm not really sure about the shape. It's like, well, he's kind of flying a little bit. I don't know.
It looks pretty good.
I don't know. Well, I guess the first attempt.
Okay, so you might want to go back like this whole underside. You might want to make this whole underside. I realized I didn't do my face quite right.
Okay.
This whole underside should be like color. And then, so I think your black comes out. Maybe.
Too much.
It looks
Yeah.
like your black comes out there. So maybe.
I have to put an underbelly or something somewhere, or.
Yeah, give it an underbelly.
Yeah, underneath. Okay.
I just realized
Get it.
I put my face, I didn't quite do it right. So I need to change. I might need to change that line. But hey, birds have all kinds of different stripes and colors. There's no right or wrong.
That's right. It's art.
Art. Everything is art. This is art. Usually I like the colors in this kit better, but they're very different than these colors. Okay, so here I did my little eye patch is in the wrong place. I need to change it. Just come back to that. There she is. Hello.
Hi, we had a battery issue, but we got it plugged in.
I'm like, we lost somebody. We lost somebody. Wait, who did we lose?
You lost us, our batteries died, but I fixed it.
Yes, no, I figured it out that it was you.
Oh, okay. All right, where are we? Am I lost? Oh, we're at the head. Okay.
I'm realizing that I did my eyes in a little bit different place, my black for the eyes in a different place. But we've decided that birds have all different kinds of markings, so no right or wrong. So Vanessa, where were you? Were you up Northern California?
Yeah, I just had a business meeting in San Jose at the Department of Commerce.
Yeah.
But this weekend, if you guys were talking about shows, I went to see Come From Away at the Emerson Theater. So touching,
We went
so
last
awesome.
night. When did you go?
On Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we just went. Yeah, on last night. Mm-hmm. It was so good. Yes, so good. But it's gone. Like yesterday was the closing day, but I think it's in Orange County or San Diego or something next. I don't know if it's the same cast, but it was really good, wasn't it? Yeah.
Touching story, such a great acting and simple scenery, simple production, but so well done. It was well done.
That cast of 12 people did all those different roles. It was just crazy. Did anybody else see it? Did you see it, Jen? No. Do you guys know the story? Because I didn't really know the story of that.
It's a pretty amazing story. Like I'm not super familiar with the music, but yeah, like the premise about the plane from 9/11.
Yeah, it's all the planes, like all the planes that couldn't come into the United States. I don't know all the planes, but 38 planes were diverted and landed in Newfoundland, Canada, which is this island, and it's a town, an island of 7,000 people that then had to take care of 7,000 more people. So they put them up in the Moose Lodge and the Elks Lodge and in the school and the community center, and then they took them home and put them up in their homes and had to get food and diapers, and it was a great story though about how the town came together and the humanity of it all.
And the relationships that were made in such a short amount of time, like people reconnecting after so many years about like whatever living story they had there for 3, 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah. And the idea, like these people that got diverted, they didn't tell them in the air what had happened. They just said there was an accident, and then it was hours before they knew. They sat on the tarmac in their plane, some of them for like 28 hours, not knowing what was happening, why they were stuck there, why they couldn't get off the plane. And then they get off the plane, and there's National Guard and military, and they go through all of their belongings, and then they get put on buses in the pitch black because there's no light there. It's just an island in the middle of nowhere, and sent to community centers or whatever to sleep. That would be pretty scary. Okay, how you guys doing? I'm gonna make some corrections on my face. Although maybe I might leave. Maybe I'll just leave white there. That looks kind of cool. I don't know.
I'm loving this black because if the yellow and orange goes over it, you could just do the negative space correction.
Yes, exactly. It's harder to go the other direction, but when you're using the black, it's like, ooh, yeah. Let's see, when we go in my wing, try to cover up that yellow ochre with the white. I don't what I want to do here with my face where I did it wrong. Is anybody watching the January 6th hearings? Another light topic. Oh my goodness.
I figured out what time today's was after it was over, so I missed it. Yeah.
I tuned in because I tried to find it last night on the guide, and I'm like, I'm not seeing it on here. And then I turned on the radio this morning like at 9, and I'm like, oh, because it's 10 o'clock. It was at 10 o'clock East Coast time, but I luckily was able to turn the TV on and record it, so I went back and watched it.
Were there any new revelations?
You know what? Today was mostly just showing how all of the top advisors all tried to tell him that there was no election fraud, that all of those things, the truck full of ballots, the suitcase of ballots, that none of that, all of those checked out. None of them were election fraud, and he would just be like, okay, but what about this other thing? Okay, but what about this other thing? And then just didn't take any of their advice, because all of them are like, you need to let this go. And didn't take anybody's advice.
They have those guys on tape, like Barr and
Bill Barr, his campaign manager. Yeah.
Are they on tape proving that they told him that, or are they just CYAing right now so they don't get in trouble?
They don't have it on tape, them telling him that, but they have everybody on tape saying, no, we talked about that on numerous occasions, and they have.
So it's like them telling. I guess what I'm saying is, like, I wonder if they really said that to him at the time in real time, or if they're just saying it now.
I think they did, because these are like career.
Oh, right. Well, that's right. The deposition, you can't really lie or you'll get in trouble for perjury.
Yeah, and his campaign manager, he's done campaigns for 25 years. He worked for Bush and for like on other big campaigns. Like, he's got a reputation to uphold. So
right.
And Bill Barr, they have Bill Barr saying, I told him this was BS, except he says it, and then they have Ivanka saying, yeah, when Bill Barr said that, I listened to him, I respect him, so anybody watching?
Yeah, but Ivanka checked out by then.
Checked out by then?
She was totally checked out by then.
That's what he finally threw her under the bus.
Did he?
Trump, yeah, he dissed his daughter finally. I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah. Anyway, it's very like, okay, if anybody watches this and thinks anything other than that.
Yeah, but the people who need to have their minds changed aren't watching it.
No,
they're just not.
I'm just hoping that since every network except Fox News is broadcasting it, that they will have to happen upon it and maybe be curious. But yeah, I'm not holding my breath, but what I'm really hoping, and I shouldn't be political in these classes, but I'm really hoping that they have enough that they can convict him, because they really have a case and that he laid out the whole lie and brought all those people there to storm the Capitol. And the footage they've been showing that they hadn't shown before, all the body cam footage and stuff. Oh my goodness. It's awful. All right, enough of that. Sorry.
That's okay. What's happening?
Did anybody choose to do totally different colors for this? I'm curious. Let's see, Suze, what'd you do? You renegade, you. See, you are an artist.
It's not pretty.
I bet it is.
I have a very hard time with your fat brush thing. I feel like I need thin lines. I don't have as much control when I feel like everything's thick and lumpy. I don't know.
When you want to get thin, just get it right up on its tippy toes. So,
Yeah, that takes practice that I haven't had.
it does take practice. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. That's what I was saying. I apologize for doing a straight edge because straight edge is a little hard.
Is the wing white? Is that what I'm seeing?
This is
I kept waiting for you to paint it.
I did paint it white, yeah.
I missed it. I think we had either dog or power troubles.
Yeah.
Good. I'm gonna slap some white on here.
My face, I think I'm gonna leave this white. I kind of like my happy accident here with this little bit of white on the face. It looks.
Oh, that's an accident.
Yeah, I just didn't bring it down far enough. I meant to bring it closer to the beginning. So that's a happy accident. I think I might back with white, fill it in with white.
Ooh, this acrylic is good because this white just covered black for me.
Good. Okay. Because the paints I was using earlier, they didn't cover any. They took a few coats to cover. I'm cleaning up my my outline, my background now, my edges.
Okay. I'm so thrilled about this subject and this bird because here's a little story. When my father was passing last year, as we got closer, past October 29th, so the month or two before we were headed there, right outside our window, I had these little yellow finches, came out of nowhere, and my dad basically had Parkinson's. He was never diagnosed. My stepmom diagnosed him, but anyway, he had a lot of the symptoms.
Yeah.
And he became incommunicado, and I felt like it was him, sort of like spirit coming and
visiting and saying hi.
Yeah, so this is a really poignant painting. It's really special.
That's sweet. All right, how are you guys doing? Is it time to start with some leaves or branches? Or I was saying that leaves behind you, Vanessa, look a lot like Charley Harper leaves. He does a lot of those repetitive.
How do we do the eye? Are we going to do that later?
How are you going to do what?
The eye.
Yeah, so I can put my eye in now. Actually, let me clean up my white part right here. So the eye is, I did like a rounded off like square at the bottom for the white part and then the black for the circle. But just make sure it's split so the black part shows on the lighter color.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you might want your round brush for that so you have a point for that one. So, speaking of Disney, Roxanne was just at Disney World with her twins for 8 days. 8 days.
How was that?
We were there, yes, Saturday to Sunday, so 9 days. It was
Did
long.
Did you use the apps and the lightning lanes and all that?
Yes.
How did you find the tech? Was it easy or confusing or different? Like, how did that go?
Well, the funny thing is we watched a ton of YouTube videos before we went.
Oh, that's smart.
And that helped tremendously. It made it almost seamless. But
Cool.
my daughters are watching the YouTube videos, like how to do Disney right now.
Right.
Like, we're back, guys. We don't need to do this anymore. But yeah, once you figure it out, it was pretty seamless.
Do you feel like you would have figured it out if you hadn't had like teenage, like Gen Z with you?
Oh no, little kids.
Yeah, no, the YouTube videos were the way to go. Like watching how to do it before we went. Had we not, I would have been really lost. And if we hadn't had experience, you know, my husband and I used to be annual pass members at Disneyland.
Right.
And we have experience with fast passes. So we knew, like, we call it the Clover method. We start at one part of the park and we do all the rides there. And then we go to the next and do all the rides in the next land. And with the app, you could easily accidentally book yourself like 3 things in a row all over the park. And it's way too hot there to do that.
Right.
And too big.
So that helped. Knowing not to do that helped.
Yeah.
It was really nice. I was worried that I've stayed at Disney World before for like a half marathon, and the hotel value is really not great. You know, you're paying a lot of money for like not the nicest hotel you've ever stayed in.
Yep.
But we ended up having an amazing time, and the service was just absolutely fantastic everywhere we went.
Which property did you stay at?
We stayed at Grand Floridian.
That's a nice hotel too, but they haven't remodeled it lately, so it's getting run down. Is that what you're saying?
No, it could probably get modernized more, I guess, but we found it absolutely beautiful. We had, like, from our window, a view of the castle with fireworks.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. But this trip was supposed to take place May 2020. We had fully booked our trip and obviously had to cancel it. So there was some value in saving for an additional 2 years. And just going, you know what, like, oh, we'll just book that room. Okay, we'll just book those lightning lanes. Okay, we'll just do this. We'll do that.
Yeah.
But as background, my husband, as a child, his aunt was married to the heir of the Condé Nast fortune.
Oh my.
And was friends with Michael Eisner. So my husband's trip as a child to Disney World was as a friend of Michael Eisner.
Oh my.
So we were trying to like have a trip that like he wouldn't be like, this is terrible.
Right.
And you did.
He said it was fabulous. We were able to pull out all the stops, and even though he wasn't, you know, having dinner with Michael Jackson and getting escorted onto rides, he still had a great time.
Wow.
But like, how do you top that? There's no way.
I don't think you top that. Well, I was following her trip on Facebook and it looked pretty magical. So
it was wonderful.
I'm gonna put the branches in now. So I didn't follow exactly what the Charley Harper version of this was. So you can kind of make up your own branches where you want to go. But I'm using a round brush, and to get lighter, to get the smaller lines, just go really, really light with your touch, right on the tip of your brush. And if you
easier said than done, Jamie.
I know.
I do not have a light touch.
I'm not having much of a light touch myself right now. I'm just totally. And you can always, like I said, take your paper towel and wipe it off if you mess up.
I've done that a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it too much because then you'll never get anything finished. But I kind of regret talking to you about the Disney World. I kind of regret that we didn't take our girls to Disney World more. We went once, but I think Rebecca was probably too young to remember it. But back when we had a silver pass and all.
I regret that I worked for Disney before I had children and not when they could have benefited from it.
Yeah. Okay, I actually am gonna erase my whole branches if I can, because I realize that my legs, I'm not gonna like where my legs go. Huh? Yeah, I gotta put legs in, and they're not, I want them to go on the branch, and they're not gonna go on my branch.
It does. Oh, wait, I think I fixed it. Now it looks sleepy. Now I'll put a white dot.
For your eye?
I got caught on the eye. The devil's in the details.
I did the black part of my eye. I'm gonna come back and do the white part of my eye in a little bit. On here for
there. Had a happier eye. I wanted a happy eye.
Happy eyes are good. Karen, you've been walking at Johnny Carson Park. Did you go while the car show was happening this weekend?
I did. It was a great car show.
Yeah, Rebecca texted us. She saw it happening, and John and I ran over there yesterday to see it.
Yeah.
Shit.
I walked it for, I don't know, probably an hour or so. Of course, I couldn't run or do jogging or anything. It was crowded there, but it was hot too. So, but it was good. I was glad to see so many people out in the community, it was good.
So many cars.
Yeah, there were a lot. They were really great. I took a lot of pictures, and there was a
I'm still not gonna have a good place.
a 56 T-Bird and a 56 Chevy and a 55 T-Bird parked next to each other, right behind the parallel bars where I do some exercises on every day. And my brother owned a 56 Chevy, and my dad owned a 55 T-Bird, which my brother now owns. And they were parked next to each other. And I took a picture of him and I sent it to my brother. He lives down in Orange County. And I was like, what are the chances of these two cars being parked next to each other? And they're right behind the bars that I work out on, and stuff. I mean, it was like so weird. I just felt like, I think my dad was talking to me from heaven, it was like, take a picture, turn around, look at this stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. John, we went over in John's thing, so we drove by and let everybody see his 1974 thing.
I love car shows.
When you do corrections, you should do your correction before you erase, because you tend to just do the same thing again. So I just did the same thing again. So my branch is in a good place. I want to put my legs like right here, and that's not. See how I have my little tiny legs.
There it is. Okay.
If you're gonna make a correction, do the thing you want and then erase the thing you don't want.
I mean, basically.
You do the legs first.
Yeah, you could do the legs first. That would be a good idea.
Okay.
By the way, I have 6 brushes going now.
There you go. Let's just make sure none of them get dry.
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Wait, I need more paper towels, I think.
I'm going to just add some more branches, and then I'll have a branch down here where I can put my foot.
Okay.
This needs to be my foot right there. So, okay, and Jen, we have not heard from you at all tonight. How are you doing? What's going on with you?
Concentrating.
Yeah, some people don't like to talk when they faint. Do you have any
Trying to
trips?
think if anything exciting is happening.
Any trips
Not
coming up?
particularly. My daughter
You
finished
just-
school on Friday. And
She
so
what?
today has been the first day where I had to work and she was home from school and she did not comprehend that. It's
Oh,
very-
she just finished.
She just finished Friday. Adjustment.
Have any vacations or anything planned?
We do, and she'll be doing summer school in July, so she'll have like camp stuff going on then, but we have like 3 weeks of nothing. Well, we're going to Vegas for a couple of days because she wanted to go to the Excalibur, so we can go.
How old is she? 8?
8, yeah.
Okay.
And we were like, I guess we can go to the Excalibur for a couple of days. It's $33 a night. We're like, oh wow, okay, sure.
Is that where we stayed?
Great.
No, we stayed at Circus one year. Rebecca had never been in one spring break in high school. I'm like, okay, we'll go for spring break for a couple nights. Oh my goodness, we stayed at Circus. Oh, it has never been remodeled. It was so gross. But they have those cheap rooms. But there's a reason those rooms are so cheap.
Yes, that is the Excalibur is similar.
So
It is. It's a hotel.
Yeah.
There are beds.
Fun, I think, to
There's a
make
toilet.
our-
It's,
That's what I thought, but
I think it's fun to have your daughter or our kids like experience Vegas, like instead of like the highfalutin, 5-star experience. It's like, no, go the way we went in the 80s. We were your age, Bob Stupak's Vegas World with like the psychedelic carpet, things falling off the wall or whatever.
The first time we went, we got like a beautiful room at Mandalay Bay and we got like a cabana by the river and everything. And she was like, it's all right. And then the next time we went, we stayed at the Excalibur and she's like, this is the best. It's like I'm a prince, and everybody there was like, oh, hey, princess, are you staying in the whatever room? And she was like, I'm a princess and I'm staying in the castle. And so
that's right. It's like King Arthur vibe, right?
Yeah.
We had a similar situation. Jen's daughter and my kids were born like 2 weeks apart at St. Joe's all together. We stayed at the Signature Towers and we had a view of the Strip. And I was like, oh my God, like to be able to stay here as a kid, right? And they're looking out the window going, we want to stay in the castle. You're like, geez, kid.
You don't know how good you've got it.
Yeah, but the Signature, that was when they were really little. We were visiting a friend of the family. And so it was nice to have the Signature Tower because they have a separate bedroom. So my husband and I could put them to bed and then like hang out in the living room.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the same price as like a room at MGM. So that was really great when they were little.
I don't know that I've ever had a great experience in Vegas. There's not much there for me. I mean, maybe if I went and stayed in a 5-star hotel and went for shows and ate at the best restaurants, but I have not had that experience.
So we don't gamble. So when we go, Carrie and I go, it's always like a rock show first, like
Yeah.
somebody's playing and we're gonna go. In fact, that was my Christmas present, was the David Lee Roth final set of shows, and surprise,
What?
he bailed.
Oh.
He had 8 nights and I was gonna play all Van Halen.
Oh.
I was like, well, and it was going to be the last time you ever got to hear David Roth sing, Van Halen 1 and 2 and Diver Down. And
Is that when he got COVID?
Yeah.
Well,
it was kind of coming back, and so it kind of a show.
I don't know. I have inside scoop, and
You have inside scoop that he just bailed?
just like his voice does not sound good, so we were gonna just take that hit just to see his personality. Like he's a caricature of a caricature at this point.
Right.
He was originally a caricature. Now he's an old caricature of an original young caricature. But anyway, I don't think they could, I don't think they were selling, quite frankly.
Oh, really?
But it wasn't sold out.
I wouldn't be surprised. I saw them here in 2011 at Staples, and that was not sold out.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Which is weird for Staples.
Yeah.
And it actually was a decent show, but because it was so empty, it was weird.
Yeah, the vibe probably was not
That's
what you wished it could.
Right. This wasn't like people standing and cheering. It was like everyone just sitting, having a drink, listening.
We're all old.
Yeah.
You know, we used to he played back in the day. Back in the day when Disney still had Christmas parties for their employees and such.
You did?
He played a Disney Christmas party, and we saw him at that, and he was fantastic.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, like I said, back when you had Christmas parties and you got to dress up and take a spouse and have a nice dinner and
right.
have casino.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Well, I haven't been to Vegas in a long time, but I used to go for a lot of conferences, and it was free for me, so I always had great time. A lot of vendors, and didn't have to pay for anything. It was great.
Makes it better.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Did you go back to work, Karen? You were talking about going back part-time.
No, because I was going back and forth to visit with a friend in Arizona for a while, and then I just got back from Virginia, and this month I'm going to Utah to see my daughter and my grandkids, and my daughter is pregnant with her fourth girl.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Number 4. And the 3-year-old just called me today and said, Grandma, I'm having a baby sister. I'm like, all right.
Wow.
So, yep.
Will this be your first time going to visit?
Yeah, they moved in October, so it had been snowing and kind of weird weather, and I'd been doing other things. So, yeah, I'm going. I'm so happy, and I haven't been to their place, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't, I put a couple feelers out there for work and stuff, but nothing.
You're too busy.
I wasn't really serious about it. I just kind of like, I'm getting a little bit bored with retirement. Like maybe there's something out there for me,
right.
But kind of weird.
Yeah, well, you're too busy right now. I painted leaves with white, and now I'm going to go back over them with yellow. The white just knocks the dark back a little more. And the yellow is more translucent. So often whites in your paints are titanium. They're titanium white. And it's just like, like sunblock, the titanium just gives you a coat of white. An opaque coat of white.
I don't know. Mine's not really looking like yours, Jamie.
You know what? It would be impossible if it did. And mine is not looking like my other one at all. And that one didn't really look exactly like Charley Harper's. Like these look so different.
That's cool though.
Very different.
They're both great, Jamie.
Thank you, Suzanne. You're such a good writer, Suzanne.
I'm just sitting here watching now. I think I've hit my end point.
She's got her wine. She's like, I'm done.
Exactly. Let me see that. Let me see that bird.
He doesn't look anything like what the goal was, but he's kind of inspired-ish by Charley Harper. I don't know.
Yeah, you did. You
looks red. It looks a little red.
I wanted to do a cardinal, my state bird. So
I was gonna say it looks like a bit like a cardinal.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Can I see it again? I want to see the.
Wait, hold it up again. Wait, hold it up again. I didn't see it.
I like the background.
I like it. Yeah. See, I like it. Good for you.
Thanks.
I do love his cardinals. He does a lot of cardinals. I don't know why this one called to me today, but you froze, Suzanne. You've had too much wine.
Not enough.
I'm gonna after I paint these leaves and I get them painted, have time to dry, then I'll put the black lines in them, which really also makes them come alive. I was going to tell you, when we were talking about Charley Harper, he won a scholarship when he graduated from college. What was it called? Where are my notes? I think this was kind of sweet. If I can find what it was. No, it doesn't really. Hold on. He met his wife in art school. She was also an artist. And he got a traveling scholarship. That's all I wrote down. And so they got married right when they graduated. And for the first 6 months, it was either 6 months or a year, they traveled around the United States, staying in national parks and studying nature. And that was kind of their honeymoon. And he got a scholarship to do it. So I thought that was really sweet. And I forgot to mention that, but you saw them kissing in the one video. I think that they stayed.
That's romantic.
Mm-hmm. Sweet couple. He seemed like a very nice man. And he taught for a number of years at the Art Academy of Cincinnati. You see the leaf pattern in his work a lot. How you doing, Gary? Gary's an artist also.
Actually, I don't want to embarrass him, but he did one painting and he really used negative space.
He did one painting and he really used negative space?
One of his paintings has a very good example of negative space.
Yeah.
Like when you showed the figure.
Yes. Let's see.
It was like a crook, an elbow crook.
Uh-huh.
And then he painted in the elbow. So like there's an elbow crook. See where my elbow is? So
yeah.
He can use that. He painted that triangle. And I can see it in the painting, and I'm not a painter, and I'm like, wow, that's how you do that.
Yeah, whenever you're painting and you're trying to get your drawing, drawing or painting, you're trying to get your drawing, like look for the negative space as well. Hi, Josie.
Well, I always say you can't have the light without the dark.
That's right. Is that painting close by to show us, or is that what?
Can I show that? Obviously, this is a marriage of an extrovert and an introvert.
Gary, I know I have referred you to a couple people for landscape design.
I didn't get any calls.
You haven't got any calls yet? Everybody's waiting till we have to stop watering, but
I know. Now it's 2 days a week, I guess.
Yeah.
But most grass in Burbank grass won't take that.
Burbank.
I'm gonna call you, Gary. I'm one of the ones that Jamie said should call you, so I need to get your information.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And Lisa
got to do something about my yard.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
It's in the neck area.
Okay.
Not the elbow.
Elbow. Okay.
It's in the neck. Look at the neck and the hand.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right here, you can really see it.
Mm-hmm.
This light is not good as the gorgeous painting, but
are those elves?
See the negative space, right?
Yeah, totally. Are those elves?
It's an elf and a fairy.
Elf and a fairy. Got some fantasy painting.
Negative space there. And then with the hair, I could see how I was like, that's how you do it. You know, outlining.
Yep.
So.
Your space under the elbow also.
Yeah, down here.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're having trouble seeing something, like look for the negative space.
You can really see too with the contrast, like you can almost, like this looks like a shape, right? But it's the background, and then the use of light. Anyway.
Very nice. I've not seen a lot of your art, Gary. I've only seen a couple of things.
Oh.
I'll have to take a look next time we come over. What?
Yeah, that's.
I saw something.
I don't have a whole lot.
Did you have something in a show recently that Delia posted?
No, but that was a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't done it.
Did she post something recently?
Yeah, but I didn't.
I saw something recently.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Did you do the peacock in the show?
Is that what it was? A peacock?
Here, I'll show you guys. That's what the bird. I love this one.
Okay, let's see, what do I have left to do? So if you want, like, Charley, oh yeah, that's lovely.
This camera is not flattering to these paintings, but the peacock, but you can kind of
see plants behind it.
Yeah, he's really good with plants. Planting plants.
You know, he might like some of Will Loya's work. You know Will?
No, who's that?
He's my artist, musician buddy. He does a lot of plants. He does a lot of succulents, flowering cactus and stuff. Really beautiful. Watercolor, watercolor and oil, but
yeah, he likes watercolors. No, oil. Oil, sorry.
Yeah, I like oil. I'm putting the white in my eye, so I'm doing like a rounded, I don't know, what is that shape? I don't know what that shape is. Kind of rounded square on the bottom. And let's see, these cool lines. So I'm using the tip point of my my round brush, and I'm going to put some of this detail in.
Yeah. Put some of these featheries. How are you doing, Ashley?
Good. I was just trying to watch where you were putting the white lines first before I dive into it.
That's a good idea, since I'm kind of making that too as I go. If you want to go back and look at this is 3 generations removed from a Charley Harper. I'm going to look at his work. Feel free to pull his up. Or just make it your own. So something like that. Give the implication of feathers. That's probably about as feathery as he gets. And I was going to put in all these black lines. So do you do music for fun? And you do it all day with kids? Do you do any music for yourself for fun?
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
No, not that much. I wish I did more, but yeah, usually I'm so burned out by the time. I mean, I love what I do, but it's exhausting. And then we have 2 kids ourselves too. So
Are you teaching middle school still?
Yes, I've only ever taught middle school. Today was my last day with students, so 16 years.
Oh, wow. Oh, congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean you retired?
No. I have like another 20 to go, but
Today was the last day of school?
today was the last day of school. Yeah.
Wow. Where do you teach?
I'm at Roosevelt Middle School in Glendale.
Yeah. And you teach music to middle schoolers?
Yes, band and orchestra.
Bless your heart.
Right?
That's amazing.
It's a lot of fun. It's kind of a circus, but it is definitely.
Band kids are the best. I mean, they're just awesome.
Yeah.
Love band kids.
Well, are they band kids yet in middle school? Because they're still figuring that out, right?
They are. I mean, it's kind. You can kind of see when that, like, when the switch flips, you know, and they're like, oh yeah, this is my thing, and that's probably the coolest part.
That is very cool. Is it? What was I going to ask you? Do you have an instrument yourself? That's your instrument?
So flute is my primary instrument. I started that in 5th grade.
Okay.
And then percussion, I've done since high school. But to be a music teacher, you have to be able to play everything. So theoretically, I can play everything except guitar. I've never learned guitar.
You haven't had to have that for band?
No. And it makes it nice because then they can't make me teach a guitar class. So.
There you go. Ukulele? Do you have to teach ukulele?
I've never done ukulele. Any of the guitar family, I've never done any of those. So.
I was going to pull up this painting again, Charley Harper's painting in this, because his branches do all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big old, like a tangled mess, but they're really cool looking. So
wow, that's awesome.
I love that. And then he has these things too, if you want to add these. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. And I don't know what these white puffs are supposed to be either.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It looks like he almost like dabbed the tip of a big brush.
Mm-hmm.
Like a dotted it, you know?
It's a very different texture than everything else with these hard lines.
And it's really not a shade. I mean, it's like an ethereal, like a wisp.
Yeah.
Like a mist.
I don't know if it's supposed to be a cloud or a poof of something. I so missed the boat. I learned something today that I didn't know when I did, well, I'll just show him this one. When I did my take on one of his paintings. Oops, what did I do? Sorry, morning. When I did this lesson, this doesn't look exactly like, it's based on one of his, but his has it's like white and gray. I chose a brighter background. But I totally missed the best part of this is the title. I didn't know the title of this painting of his until today, and it's called Bird Bath.
Oh, that's cool.
And I totally didn't know that when I was teaching this to all the kids.
The kids would have loved that. Was it a kids class?
No, yes, it was for the kids class. Bird Bath.
Bird.
I have to take off, everybody.
I
But
know.
I figured I'd show you what I have.
Getting late.
Moments.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's
Nice.
Jen.
Nice work on the branches too.
Clouds, because I figured the bird is high
Yes, yes.
in the air.
So pretty.
Yay, Jen, that's beautiful.
Really cool.
All right. Thanks so much, Jamie. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, good night.
Does anybody else want to share? My light just went out.
I'll show mine. I decided to stop because I've been up for a long time and I had to work all day and yada yada. But
we don't usually finish in here, so I'm a little too. I'm a little too. What's the word?
it's the shapes.
That's great.
Nice.
I kind of stopped, but it's gonna remind me of my daddy. So
I love it.
Oh, I love that, Delia.
You're gonna go back and finish your leaves later.
My what?
You're gonna finish your leaves later.
No, I don't think so because The four leaves represent me and Gary, Clypey, and Xander, and then.
Oh,
All right. Night, Roxanne.
I like that.
Birds painted.
Those are all good. Those are great.
Nice, Ashley. Yeah.
So
Ooh,
cool.
I like your leaves. Those are great. Ooh,
Yeah.
Wow. I
I'm
like
not-
Roxanne's two birds. Oh, that's so great.
Let's have to all hold him up again and let's see Gary's. Can we see yours, Gary? And then I want everybody to hold him
Sure.
up and I'll take a
We're
screen.
working on it though.
These are so
Alex
sweet.
made me do the second bird.
Yeah, come closer.
Here, I don't want you.
A mama and a baby.
Yeah.
Our standout cardinal.
Here's Gary.
Lovely, Gary. That's lovely. All right, everybody. hold them up.
The weird cardinal.
I have to. Okay. Wait, hold them up.
Oh, wait. I erased that. I turned around. Hold
That
on.
was a test because I can never remember which
Okay.
way I'm supposed
Got
to
my
push.
butt.
A little trial or error. Suze, lean yours a little bit so the light.
Hey, bring yours over there.
I'm gonna see if I turn the light out. Maybe it'll be better. I don't know. Nope.
There's a creepy guy underneath yours.
Just angle it so yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay. A little
There you
closer, Gary. A little closer.
Look closer. Yeah.
Stop looking at
Over.
yourself on the TV. Yeah. Okay. All right. Lovely. And Karen, hold yours up a little bit higher. Okay. All right. What about James? Let's see our ringer.
And where's James?
Where's
He
James?
put too much paint on his, and so
What happened to his?
it looks good.
Wait, I want to see it again. I didn't know he was there with you.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Shy.
He's been hiding.
James, can we see it again?
I did a drawing in addition.
Oh, that's great.
Wow. We want to see your painting.
Awesome. That's a really pretty bird.
He put too much paint. It's really wet, so he.
Were you doing oil or acrylic?
Acrylic.
Yeah, and it still really is too wet to hold up.
Yeah.
Come on, show us. This is the best part.
Nope.
Going rogue there, way down at the end.
Oh, come on, bring it a little closer, James. Come on. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for painting. I'm gonna finish.
Thanks, James.
Thank
you.
Mine. Yeah. So pull up that painting if you want to look at it and see what else you need to add or what you want to add. Or correct. I'm looking in my head. I think I need to make it a little smaller. So next month we'll do form. That'll be fun. And if you guys have any like paintings you want to try, let me know. Send me examples of, or, send me things if there's something you're dying to paint, and I'll see how it fits in with the lesson. And then September, I'll need to change the date in September because I'm gonna be in Europe with Miss Suzanne.
Woo!
Iceland.
Wow.
Going Iceland. So anyway, John and I are going to go travel before I go meet Suzanne. So I'll be gone.
Bye.
So yeah. So anyway.
Good.
All right, it's good to see you guys.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.